All right, welcome, folks. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. It's going to be your sit rep for Monday, 9/6/2021 at about 6:30 p.m. Central Time, coming to you from the great state of Tex-Mexistan, which is going to be our next one here. This is interesting to see what happens here, folks. This is getting really, really interesting with these flights and the amount of people they're bringing into not just Texas, but all the way across our country. And I'm going to show you some information tonight. It's going to blow your mind because there's a lot going on, and we are only seeing parts of it. So without further ado, let me hop on over here to our main board. Now, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and bell for notification, and buckle up because this is going to be a fast 30 minutes, and I'm going to be throwing a lot at you. So let me back up a little bit. Let's get into Flashbang's schedule and just kind of show you guys he is at home in Delaware. So that's going to bring us over to the TFRs. He doesn't have anything really on the docket right now. But it looks like we got another hurricane out here that is brewing, and some more storm systems here. But let me just kind of get into the northeast actually, because we got a lot of security TFRs up right now. So this is going to be, well, let me just kind of get in. Brown zone, okay. This one over Richmond is really interesting. That's a security TFR. Don't know what it's for, how long it's going to be. Oh, wait, there it is, September 7th through the 9th. So we're mid-stroke into that. I was looking for that earlier. Couldn't see it. So not sure what they have going on here, but it's a security TFR. This one, we know that Flashbang is at home, but I'm not really sure what these two are. These are additionals. I guess he's headed up to look at the flooding in that general area, which would make sense. So that's probably going to be Flashbang tomorrow. This little one right here, the little red one, is another security TFR, and it runs from August 30th to September 9th over New York. So I don't know who that is or what that is. And then we've got one up here, which is another one that runs September 6th through the 15th, and that's over the Vineyard Sound. So I don't know who is up there either. But that's a lot of TFRs, security TFRs. Now, let me just pop into this one because I want to say that was as well. Now it's hazards. Okay, we're good then. I think I got them all covered. That's going to be air show. And somebody had asked me earlier if there were more air shows going on right now than usual. And yeah, there are. I don't think I've ever seen as many air shows in my life, really. It seems like every time I click on one of these. That's a security one over the Keys. Another data point. I don't know if something's going on there or not, but just a data point. But we've been watching that area for a while, and I thought I just saw something recently that would give me some more indicator. Now that one that's over Disney in Orlando. Okay. All right. So let me back up a little bit. These are our standing. That's on the border. That's one over Texas. Or in Texas. That's always been there. And then that little tiny dot right there is GW Bush in Dallas. And Oklahoma, I want to say that's an air show. Yeah. Okay. All right. So there we are with that. Now let's just hop over here to flight radar. I just want to show you that we still don't really have anything going on air traffic wise inside of Afghanistan. It's been very, very quiet. People are staying out of that area, and for a good reason. And so I'll kind of show you what's going on there in just a minute. And so a couple things I want to point out here this evening that I found interesting as I've been peeling the onion. One of them is, first and foremost, the timing on this Afghanistan bringing in the immigrants, these refugees. I want to show you that this is from July 30th, and you can see them already standing stuff up. Now, remember, the place collapsed, I think it was August 8th. Okay, so they've been bringing people in before the collapse. So they knew something was coming, all right? But that's not it. Let me back up here, and I'm going to pull up something on my screen because I want to share this with you guys. Now, this is the National Defense Act, basically a summary document that was pulled off of the House Armed Service Committee website. Reason it's important is because this was written in June 25th of 2020. Okay, so this is for 2021. And here's what I want to show you. First of all, notice the amount of funds, $3.5 billion fund to National Defense Security Forces. That's all the equipment we left over there, or part of it. but it gives them a little extra money. It provides training, equipment, sustainment for the Afghan National Army, Air Force, Special Forces, etc. That's probably what we left in cash, if I had to guess, because we know we have about $86 billion worth of equipment we left behind. So that number doesn't jive, all right? Now, notice here, they already have SIVs called out, right? That's the Special Immigrant Visas. So this has been in plans for quite some time. Now, I do know that during POTUS, or Trump, or Mr. Bigley, as we call him, I do know that when he was in office, this was written when he was in office, actually, he did have a plan for exiting. So this was probably part of the plan. Just goes to show you the separation between what actually took place and what was planned. This was probably at the lower limits, and not nearly what we see. And obviously the $86 billion worth of equipment was clearly not part of the $3.5 billion authorized, okay? So also, there is some stuff in this on Guantanamo Bay, but we're going to get into that here in a little bit. I'm actually going to show a little more next time on Guantanamo Bay. I did uncover some things today that are a little bit unnerving, and we'll talk about that. But I do want to go into that in more detail, okay? But to go further in onto what we were just talking about, excuse me, is notice August 6th, Connecticut is preparing to resettle Afghan refugees who aided U.S. troops. Now, that is Bagram Air Force or Air Base in Afghanistan, but it just goes to show you, again, timestamp, Connecticut, all right? Connecticut is not on anybody's radar, and that just goes to tell you and show you they're bringing people into Connecticut, all right? Even though we're talking about a lot of other bases, you go over here to this one, and this is actually talking about Fort Lee outside of Petersburg on July 30th for one of the locations. And notice that they were expected to be about 3,500 evacuees, okay? Notice that, as that has changed quite a bit, all right? Okay, now, here is part of the thing I was going to show you relative to the Taliban and what's going on with the latest. Now, they currently have, they're holding Americans hostage at an airport there, and that comes from one of our lawmakers. So remember I said the place is going to go hot, and it definitely has. And so this is, I think we're going to see a lot more of this, actually. That's how they're going to get paid, okay? At the end of the day, we're going to negotiate with them and be dropping probably lots of money. All right. Now, let me also just show you one of the things too. And I know I'm throwing a lot of data at you. I tried to do this in 30 minutes and I got a lot to cover. And so I just want to make sure that you guys are just well informed. Okay. And so now this is going to be a video, and this just basically walks through some of the armament that we left behind. As you guys can see, that's a lot of American guns right there. That's a lot of American money. Those are all Benjamins, stacks and stacks and stacks. Now, I don't know how much is in each stack, but I will tell you that's a lot of dough, okay? And this guy peels one of them off here, and you can see it's a stack of Benjamins. Yeah, that's a lot of money, folks. That's probably, I don't know how many millions, but I would imagine it's several $1 million in cash. Cold hard cash in the hands of the Taliban. Okay. Now look at the guns. That looks like a gun store. This guy's going to peel back the little, yeah, there you go. So yeah, that actually does look like something you'd see in one of our gun stores. Then there's just loads of ammo and lots of other stuff, boxes of other stuff. So yeah. All right. Looks like they are well provided. So there's going to be that. Now, also, just wanted to show you, this is one of the camps we're going to be looking at today in terms of flights headed in. This is southern Indiana, Camp Arterbury. And so you can see they're also expecting refugees to arrive in groups of 1,000 at a time. They're expecting about 5,000. That number is going to be significantly higher. Now, what I'm about to show you is a little bit disturbing, and I'm just going to put that out front. So those with weak constitutions, you probably this may get to you a little bit. Okay, so here we go. that was not it. But that was pretty disturbing. I'm not gonna lie. So I thought I'd throw that in there for a little humor before I show you this one, because this is kind of disturbing. But one of the things that they're finding here with our new house guest is that they have brides that are young kids. Some, now hang on to your socks for this one. Some of them the age of 5. Okay, get your head around that. Marrying women at the age of 5. And so these two girls, this is from National Geographic magazine from 2011. And so what's going to be crazy, when you think about this, I know that our government right now is going to act like they're all caught off guard. They couldn't believe this happened because they know this is a crisis, and they brought them all in here, and these guys have very young children brides. And so they're trying to figure out how to deal with this. But let me tell you, that is not a surprise or shock to them. They already knew about it. And if you ask any Army veteran that spent time over there, he will tell you that it's not just little kids like that, girls married to men, but they actually have young boys that they assign to camps that are also abused, that are basically slaves to some of these villages. Okay. So, and I know that firsthand, but if you don't believe me, you can go ask some people that. It is pretty disturbing. And so, okay, now let me just make sure as we kind of get into this, I just want to show you guys, we're going to get over to some of the new bases. Holloman Air Force Base is one that's New Mexico, that's out there near White Sands. We already knew that they were going to start moving people out to that direction. What's happened is these sites, they're building tent cities and things of that nature. But they are putting them in hotels, they're putting them everywhere because they have way, way, way more than what they are telling us. And the reason I point this out is because if you notice, I showed you Connecticut. I've showed you other locations. We got Indiana now, we got Texas, we've got New Jersey. There's actually quite a bit of information as you get into this. And I'll show you here in a second, of the bases that were pre-planned, and now they're expanding well beyond that. But one of the things too is now they're running into the issue that they need additional linguists who are fluent and can speak with the Afghans, because they have so many people well beyond what their normal expectations were, that they don't all speak our language. And remember the first lie that they told us, and that was they were bringing these people over here because they had assisted U.S. folks, and we were doing it to protect their lives. And now all of a sudden, evidently, they have 50,000 people that were assisting us in their country. Go figure that out. That's more than our troops were over there. So, yeah, this is pretty crazy. I think we've been sold up the river here, folks. So. Okay, now let's get over here to Biggs real fast. This is going to be Biggs Army Airfield. Now, for today, there wasn't really too much going in and out. Let me hit the button. A lot of this stuff is actually off the board already. So this was over the weekend. So for Saturday, you can see Southwest Airlines. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 flights over the weekend from Saturday and Sunday. And then today, this one, and I don't know who this is. I don't know that's connected, but it's Sierra Pacific Airlines, that I'm not familiar with them. And they came out of kind of a weird location, Jackson, Mississippi. So I don't know if that's related or not. It looks like today there wasn't anything in and out of there. Okay. So that's going to be Biggs. Now, this is going to be Volk Airfield. And you can see there's one that's on the docket from United Airlines. We've got 2 that are scheduled departures. But let me get over here because they're clearing the board off, like I said. So this was from Saturday and Sunday. That's Hawaiian Airlines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. So we've got 10 aircraft. 10 that arrived just Saturday and Sunday into Volk. Okay. And so now over here to Holloman. Today they had 2 Hawaiian Airlines out of Philly and DC. And don't see anything else on there. Let me just bump in real fast and see. Oh, yeah, this thing's chock full. So more Philly flights. That's all Delta Airlines. So over the weekend. So it looks like, yeah, they're still just cranking them out. Okay. And then this is going to be WRI, which is actually Joint Base. This is Lakehurst. And you can see now that's Airborne Express. Now they could convert that in. I don't know. But these reaches are probably definitely, like this one here is coming from St. John's, Newfoundland. So it looks like it stopped up there briefly. And then this one's coming out of Newark. So those are going to be 3 times what you're going to get on a commercial, just rule of thumb. They are a lot bigger, these big C-17s. So that's on the arrival board. That was today. I don't see anything en route. Do see some departures. Looks like it's headed back to get some more poppies. Okay. And that one I'm not sure of. Again, Airborne Express. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about Guantanamo Bay before we get into the bananas. This was an interesting thing. So there's nothing really on the board except for this, which is our usual little, that's scheduled for tomorrow, which is Tuesday, normal flight. Now, this was kind of an interesting one, and I'm going to let me get down here and show you. But Catherine Heritage is on site for the 9/11 hearings. They said there's some stuff coming up, some trials this week. One of the things I want to point out was that she's talking about that the flashbang administration wants to close the prisons at Guantanamo Bay, right? Remember now, he's talking about that, and I get a lot of people that tell me that, yeah, the dude's closing them down. There's nothing going on. This is a big nothing bomb, nothing happening, right? And so, but like I said, it's disinformation because the actions, the flights that I'm seeing go in and out wouldn't indicate that things are being slowed down. If you remember, we went through a very big peak mid-May to the end of June, which is the biggest peak of aircraft arrivals there that I have seen in probably in 2 years I've been watching. Okay. So, but check this out. Now, they're talking about a major construction project is underway, including an additional courthouse for the military trials, plus expanded classified workspace. And they were told it was going to be about $15 million. And note that the detention camps are separate from the Navy base. Okay? So I don't know what that's planned for, but I don't like the way it feels. There's something up with that, okay? Because remember, there's only supposedly 40 people down there. Why would you be expanding and adding things for trials? And $15 million isn't a lot of money unless you're putting up those tents, very similar to what we're housing all of these refugees in. Okay, you guys tracking? So pay attention to that. Now, also, I just want to point out, this is a flight. This is Otis 15. This flight's been back and forth several times in the last couple of days. This is a C-130 coming out of Cherry Point, North Carolina. Went to Jacksonville, and then from Jacksonville, this was on Sunday, Jacksonville to Guantanamo Bay. And then on Sunday, it was seen. Now, I'm just going to show you the log. You can see typical. They get around that. They round that point right there, and they shut off for some reason. They disappear on their final approach. Okay, which is pretty common. All right. Now, this is the other one Sunday, and notice it comes out of here and rolls up to Jacksonville. But it doesn't go to Jacksonville first. It goes up here to Cherry Point again and then down to Jacksonville, which is kind of a long loop, especially for a C-130. But doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know why it went up there. But then here is for today. And actually, I don't know why it did that. Let me back up because I just totally power loaded the wrong. There we go. All right. Now, supposedly this thing's en route from Jacksonville to, looks like it's about to land, but it does this whole trip again. Kind of interesting. So I don't know if that's just some bad data that came in, but this was yesterday. This is today. And if you go back and track the actual replay, it doesn't really land until here, which is really, where is it right there on the map? You can see that's down at Guantanamo Bay. Okay. And it's white. We lose some data, it looks like. So did it land there? Did it do a touch and go? It'd be really strange for that thing to go all the way down there, do a touch and go, not land, and then come all the way back. Don't know. Don't have an answer for that one, but just pointing it out. Data point. Okay. All right. Now let's get over here to XPL Honduras. That is our alternate location to Guantanamo Bay. And the only thing I will show you is on the weekend we had Shark 74, C-130 that went over to Guantanamo Bay. So remember, now the Otis flight, C-130, and this flight is a C-130. So I don't know, something's happening there in Guantanamo Bay. We're pumping troops in, maybe. It's typically a troop rotation. So we're going to keep our eye on it. The fact that they're building a $15 million tent city with a courthouse and a place for trials is a little bit disturbing. So we'll keep our eye on that, and we're going to continue to track it, because what I'm worried about is that's going to be patriots going to that and not something else. So just putting that out there. We need to watch that closely. Okay. And the reason I say that is if you've read my blog on my website, monkeywerxus.com, for the greater good, if you go back and you look at Dachau, and it was originally a munitions facility that was repurposed, and it was used to house political dissidents. And then it was repurposed after that for the Jews. And so they built that thing, made it into a prison, and then they repurposed it. And so when I see them standing up lots and lots of tents, for refugees all over the country, those people are going to be leaving there, and then those tents are going to be empty. And so I don't know. Doesn't have a good feeling, folks. I'm not going to lie. But we just need to pay close attention to it, all right? And so, well, they say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So we just need to pay attention and see what's going on. All right, now, over to the bananas. And so this is going to be Laughlin today. Nothing going on. The board's been pretty empty. Let me see if there's anything over the weekend. Not seeing anything. So really quiet. You're going to notice that, and I'm going to show you real quickly, they've slowed down the bananas coming into our country. In fact, they've even been sending them back. And they started this about 3 weeks ago. Maybe a little bit more, 3-4 weeks ago. About the time, actually, that the poppies started to arrive. So remember, July 30th was when they started coming here. Now, you go back, you can go look. There's a guy by the name of Oscar Blue on YouTube that's been doing some videos. And he's basically showing down there on the Guatemala-Mexican border, and he shows these buses that arrive. And he's been walking through people, and I mean like families, men, women, and children that are being sent back. They're flying them back, and then, of course, they're, these people are probably making another run for it. Now, I do know we've got another caravan en route to the border right now, because he did report on that as well. So just, again, another data point. Looks like instead of trying to accommodate everyone because they were probably already maxed out, they've started sending the Hispanics back down to their home countries and making room for the Afghanis, okay? So there is that. Now, this is going to be Swift Air. Landed 1 hour, 44 minutes ago. Just want to show you that they're still continuing to move people from El Paso to Brownsville, which is a border run, okay? They're just repositioning assets accordingly, and some of them are headed back the other direction. Now, this is another Swift Air, landed 6 hours, 42 minutes ago. McAllen, Texas, down to Guatemala City. Now, that probably did return some folks based on the data that we're getting. And so they are sending people back home. All right. Which, you know what? That's a good thing. That's what we want them to do. We want them to stop letting them in. However, they're just doing it to make room for the others. So it's not making the situation any better. So, okay. This one was 3 days ago, Guatemala City to McAllen. That was probably an empty flight coming back, but I did want to point out that starting Thursday, it went from Guatemala to McAllen. Again, on Friday the 3rd, Guatemala to McAllen. And then this one, Guatemala to McAllen. So, and that was today. So I don't know where the other leg is on that, but it looks like we have something from McAllen down there. So these are probably empty flights coming back before they were full and empty going the other way. So go figure that out. Now that is your government dollars at work, folks. Talk about inefficient. 1 minute they're bringing them in, bypassing everybody, breaking the law, and the next minute they're like, nah, we changed our minds, go back. So, which is what we wanted them to do, but we just need them to do it all the way around. All right. So this is going to be N629SW. Landed a day ago, San Antonio over to Alexandria, Louisiana. Remember, that's a 72-hour holding facility. If we look in, that was Sunday. Now, on Sunday, it went from Alexandria back down to San Antonio, but then it goes on Monday, San Antonio to Miami. And the last up, C202. I just kind of want to point this one out. This is going to be your Deputy Director of Homeland Security, and currently rolled out of D.C. today. Landed 7 hours, 6 minutes ago in the United Kingdom, in London. So, eyes on that dude. All right, let me get over here to my board here real fast. Oh, I did want to point one other thing out real fast. Check this out now. So, we've been watching these Google balloons for a while, and I told you these things are definitely, they're not made for remote internet out in the middle of nowhere. They're spy balloons, okay? So evidently this one came down in the middle of some country. I don't know where that is. Looks to be Central America, but it crashed. You can see it up in the trees. So it looks like we got a balloon down in Central America somewhere. So, I would imagine if that guy flipped that thing over, you'd probably see some pretty intense camera apparatus and a lot of different stuff in there. There's all kinds of little things. So it is it's just interesting. Love to reverse engineer that bad dude. But, they just lost that one down. I guess it's interesting how they fall out of the sky, but yet you don't see them anywhere on any of our tracker maps. So figure that one out. All right. Okay. So listen, I know we covered a lot of stuff, and I just want to tell you, I know as bad as this stuff sounds, just a reminder for those of you out there that at the end of the day, God didn't bring us this far to abandon us. All right. So just keep the faith. And know that He has a plan, and that He's going to take care of us. All right, so don't let any of this stuff bother you. It's an interesting time to be alive, but again, being forewarned is forearmed, right? And so now we've got knowledge that we can arm ourselves with and make decisions based on that, not making bad decisions. All right, so that's going to be it. You guys, listen, stay frosty. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeywerxus.com.